This is an NBC News special report. Here's Kristen Welker.
Good day, everyone. We are coming on the air with breaking news out of Washington, where the U.S. Capitol complex is on lockdown and people outside have been advised to take cover after what officials call an external security threat, apparently a car ramming a barricade outside the Capitol. Now, shots have been fired. Our Pete Williams has been following this story and has the very latest developments of this ongoing breaking news. Pete, what can you tell us?
Kristen, the best information we have is that this is on the Senate side, the Constitution Avenue side of the U.S. Capitol, where this temporary fence was set up and a barricade was erected to keep cars that had to go through a checkpoint. And a short time ago, a little less than an hour ago, that blue car that you're looking at ran past the barricade and would not stop, hit two U.S. Capitol police officers, injuring them, and then we're told by two different law enforcement officials that the person in the car jumped out of the car with a knife and was then shot by U.S. Capitol Police. So we know of 3 people injured, the driver of the car who was shot, the 2 U.S. Capitol Police officers who were struck by the car. All 3 have been taken to the hospital. We're told that the injuries of one of the Capitol Police officers is considered critical. We don't know the condition of either the driver of the car or the other Capitol Police officer. And we don't know anything about what this person's motive was, what the background was, where they came from. It would seem to be more than just an accident if the person jumped out with a knife. But you see the sort of double barricade there. The lower right portion of your screen is the temporary fence that is what's left now of what was originally put around the Capitol after the January 6th riots in the Capitol. And then you see the more permanent structure, which is that pop-up barricade that says stop there where the car is struck. That's obviously what stopped the car. So it went through the checkpoint, which is right above the word police on your screen, where the Capitol Police officers were checking anybody who wanted to get further toward the Capitol complex. And that's the Senate side of the Capitol that you see in the upper left of the screen. And then the car kept going, and these pop-up barricades are down below even with the street, and that normal traffic can pass, but they pop up to stop traffic. And normally they are in the up position. They are lowered to let cars through. So the car hit that, and we're told the driver jumped out with a knife. We don't know of any other injuries, and as I say, Kristen, this just happened within the past hour, and so we're still learning much more minute by minute.
And, Pete, as you point out, there are already extra barricades all around the Capitol in the wake of what happened on January 6th. Do we have any sense that investigators are concerned about any ongoing threat, or at this point does it seem as though that driver in the car is it?
I think the honest answer to that question is they don't know yet. They don't know much about the driver. This just happened. I have no other information to indicate there's any other threat. This does seem to be, quote unquote, over. But I think it's just too soon to say whether this is isolated or what else is going on here. We just don't have those answers yet.
Yeah, the investigation just unfolding as we are talking. I want to go now to Leanne Caldwell, who is on the phone. She has additional details. She covers Capitol Hill for us and is overlooking what is transpiring right now. Leanne, set the scene for us. The Capitol, as Pete and I have been discussing, already has had extra protection in the wake of what happened on January 6th. What are you seeing right now?
Well, that's right, Kristen. There is extra protection, and that's why you see that black fencing in your screen. With the fencing was put up after January 6th. That's what's called some of the perimeter fencing. And then there was another layer of fencing that went much broader that was actually taken down just 2 weeks ago. As you can see, there is a big huddle of law enforcement that's including police and Capitol Police, and there's National Guard there as well, lots of first responders. I'm in the Russell Senate office building, which is directly across the street from the Capitol. I'm on the 3rd floor, but I'm about 100 yards away from where the scene is right now. And at about 1:03, we got an announcement that we were on lockdown because of an external situation. Shortly after, we heard sirens, many sirens racing to the scene. And then shortly after that, there was a helicopter that landed on the grass on the east front of the Capitol. That helicopter has since taken off. But I can see very well the car that has crashed into that security barrier that is the final security barrier between the public and the Capitol. And those security barriers were actually put into place after September 11th. After every tragic security threat, there is more security that is put up around the Capitol and that
Constitution and Delaware Avenue. So that is what limited information we have at this time, Aaron. I can also tell you here from the White House perspective, the president has already left the building for the Easter weekend. He is headed to Camp David with his family. He departed from here about an hour ago. But Jen Psaki, during the White House press briefing, was just asked whether she had any information about this unfolding security incident, and she said she wasn't briefed on it, given that press availability had been taking place for the last 45 minutes or so, so essentially while this was still unfolding. But she was asked, of course, if there was a change in security posture, for her to let us know that. We haven't been alerted so far, and from what I can tell just behind me, overlooking the White House and the fencing around it, that remains in place too, and all seems to be in order down here. The president, wherever he goes, whenever he's traveling, always has people around him who can brief him and provide him up-to-the-minute information, so we assume that's taking place. But again, that's happening down at Camp David in Maryland, far away from the White House, as we wait for more information from officials on just what happened in the last hour or so here outside this, again, heavily fortified Capitol, still clearly on alert and nervous given what happened in January, Aaron.
Absolutely. Monica Alba for us. And Monica, I'm going to let you sort of look down at your notes and see if you're getting any more information in. As I reset here for folks who may be just joining us, the note that we've received is that the U.S. Capitol is on lockdown because of an exterior security threat, so people are not being allowed into the Capitol complex or allowed to leave the Capitol complex at this point. We saw some live pictures a few minutes ago of a car that was stopped by a barrier. If you're not familiar with the area around the Capitol there in Washington, D.C., there are gates, barriers embedded in the streets around the U.S. Capitol, and at any time those barriers can be lifted and be used to stop a vehicle that may be coming into that area. There are also Capitol police officers posted on many of the streets that surround the U.S. Capitol to react quickly if there is a threat that comes into that area. We saw a car that appeared to have been stopped by one of those